Hey everybody, this is Belligerent, and here is a Paladin Death Knight versus Paladin Warrior game on the beta for Cataclysm. On my Arena Junkies thread, this Paladin actually recorded the game also, and I watched it from his point of view, and they were using Ventrilo, so that was a little unfair, I think, because me and this Death Knight here are totally just playing with no vent or anything. But anyways, I'd like to point out that I am doing a stupid amount of exorcisms. And that's allowing us to keep that warrior pressured and low and force that paladin to keep using his mana healing. If you notice, that paladin isn't using exorcism at all whatsoever, so we obviously have a damage advantage, which is also a mana advantage because exorcism doesn't cost very much mana. It costs like 1700 and I have 103,000 mana, and I have like 1900 MP5 at 85 here. So pretty much every 5 seconds, it gives me enough mana to cast Exorcism anyway. And since spells like Word of Glory don't cost mana, Exorcism costing only 1700 really is like it costing even less because my other moves don't cost anything sometimes. But anyways, this warrior's on me here, and something about the warriors that's new is that they have Colossus Smash, and that makes their attacks ignore armor for 6 seconds. So basically, they'll hit you for like 5k, 5k, use Colossus Smash, and then crit you twice for 20,000 each. You just gotta be ready for it. So he's doing that to my my Death Knight here. If you do see it, the icon for Colossus Smash looks like a little yellow shield. It's a new icon, so if you do see a debuff, that's a new shield-looking debuff. It's Colossus Smash. He just did it to me there. He used Throwdown on me, which is a 5-second stun that warriors can do, plus the Colossus Smash to make himself do extra damage. And what I did was I used Holy Radiance, which is an AoE heal, but it also, if you're spec'd into it like I am, it gives me a 60% sprint for 4 seconds. Oh man, this is a long game. This is like not even 1/3 done. But so far I have almost 80,000 mana left, and that other paladin only has 21,000. So my exorcism spamming into his warrior is obviously paying off. Plus I have actually been using my judge on pretty much on cooldown-ish. And that gives about 2,000 mana back every time you judge. It costs about 1,000 mana to judge, and it restores about 3,000 mana. And there's Arcane Torrent. That right there is another 6,000 mana back. So that's why I'm definitely gonna. I think I'm gonna prefer Blood Elf instead of Tauren for Holy Paladins. Obviously, human sucks, and Dwarf. Who cares about dwarves? Like Alliance for PvP is terrible. But for Horde, I think Blood Elf's gonna be better mana-wise for sure, and just pretty much overall because you're gonna want that Arcane Torrent to silence those wizards, as well as give you mana back instead of just War Stomping them. War Stomp doesn't give you mana back. You might have that extra couple thousand health for being a Tauren, but that doesn't really compare to being, able to on demand give yourself 6,000 mana back every 2 minutes. That's off GCD, and also interrupt spells. Reforce this warrior shield wall plus shield block and rage gen, so he is freaking out. His paladin's still super low on mana. He did just use Divine Police, so he got a little bit back. I got interrupted, and you saw me use my Jesus Beam, as I like to call it, aka Light of Dawn. It's usable while interrupted. And currently on the beta, they changed it from live, where it just cost mana and had a cooldown. Now it does not have a cooldown, and it uses holy power charges. So it's arguably better now, because I think it actually heals for more now. It heals for like 2,800 per charge, and doesn't cost any mana. So Word of Glory and Light of Dawn costs 0 mana, and just use holy power charges. And Light of Dawn is usable while silenced and interrupted, and I believe that's intended because it's like that on live and it's like that on beta, and it's been like that through multiple patches, so I'm assuming that's intended. Anyways, back to the game here. I'm using Divine Light just to catch up on healing. It costs way more mana to use it, but rather than using a Holy Light and just having my DK sit there missing 30% health, I use Divine Light and actually top him off because it heals for like 4 times as much, 4 or 5 times. Crits for over 30,000 instead of critting for like barely 12k or whatever like Holy Light does. I tell my DK to switch through chat because we're not on Skype or Ventrilo. And it's because I can't see us ever really killing the warrior, but we can line up a kill on the paladin through silences and stuns. Because you can see he bursts that pally down to half health super fast, and it takes that pally like 5 heals to top himself off. Like I'm keeping him pressure just by holy shocking him and using exorcism on him. Like my DK hasn't even hit him for a bit, and I'm still keeping him at half health. But now the DK's back on him. The warrior's on me, and he used Colossus Smash, so that means he's gonna be doing a lot of damage. So I need to freak out and use moves like Aura Mastery, and it's not quite enough here. So I'm actually forced to use my bubble. And since I'm forced to use my bubble, I'm down a cooldown, but luckily their paladin uses his bubble at the same time. So we're both down bubbles, and I do have Divine Protection up, which is a 20% shield wall. And to keep this advantage here, which I feel like I have through mana and just pressure, I continue using Exorcism on this warrior. As you see, I'm doing tons of damage to him. In his video, you can hear his warrior like freaking out on how much damage I'm doing. I'll link his video in the description bar. It's just the other point of view with their Skype included, instead of me and this Death Knight with no Skype. And now she almost get him killed here, but the my Death Knight gets disarmed, and that's 10 seconds of not having a weapon. That's 10 seconds of doing terrible damage. So that Paladin's gonna be totally fine. Though he's still super low on mana, and I'm keeping my mana up super efficiently as well as I know how to do it currently so far in this beta. And it's proven to be a lot more mana than the other Paladin has, so I guess I'm doing something right. I use Arcane Torrent on him just so he can't use Word of Glory on himself for a little bit. And he follows that with just a Holy Shock and Divine Protection. My DK gets Imp Hamstrung just slightly out of line of sight, so that Pally is able to get away, but I'm keeping pressure on him. He's sub 20k mana, and when heals cost between 2,000 and 6,000 mana, having sub 20k mana is pretty low on mana. Though it does seem sometimes like if you can spam a Holy Light indefinitely. We get an interrupt on the Paladin here, plus I pop wings and I try to exorcism, but the warrior's good enough to pummel me, so that stops me from doing like any damage to that Paladin really. And he gets away again here. I can't really stop him from doing anything. He's completely out of mana. My Death Knight almost dies here, but I use Bop on him, or Hand Protection as it's been called for months now, but I will not call it that. So yeah, I bop him so that he can't take any damage from the warrior. So that warrior switches on me, and luckily Protector of the Innocent heals me for like a crap ton overall. It's nice having. It's kind of like having your own little renew on yourself all the time, I guess, or just like a rejuvenation. Every time you heal your partner, it heals you for like 5k, and that really made up for not having to use Beacon on yourself. That's what it really does. It replaces having to use Beacon on yourself, because you want to use Beacon on the target you're healing mostly, because you get holy power charges when you heal that person with Beacon. Anyways, I'm feared by this warrior, and he's getting my DK down to like half-ish, but I'm able to pick him back up with a Divine Light, Holy Shock, and Word of Glory, and but then I use the rest of my Holy Shocks into the warrior rather than using them on my DK. But that causes me to get super low, but I'm able to use Divine Protection. But I get stunned, plus Colossus Smash, plus an Imp Hamstring into a Hammer of Justice. I think I want to freaking die here. But what I do is I use my sprint move, which is Holy Radiance, plus I use a Word of Glory, and I'm able to get it around this corner away from this warrior long enough for me to top myself, or at least get myself some heals. So their Paladin falls behind because he like freaked out to try to kill me, and I'm able to help burst him down with my DK, and we win the game. And it was like 9 minutes, and that was super fun. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Yep. Please subscribe. Just do it.